Berlin, March 23, 1933. Ladies and gentlemen of German Staatsrecht, by agreement with the Russian government, today the National Socialist German Workers' Party and the German National People's Party have presented to you for the resolution a notice of motion concerning a law for removing the distress of folk and rich. The reasons for this extraordinary measures are as follows. In November 1918, the Marxist organization seized the executive powers by means of a revolution. The monarchies were dethroned, the authorities of rich and land were removed from office, and thus a breach of the Constitution was committed. The success of the revolution, in a material sense, protected these criminals from the grips of justice. They sought moral justification by asserting that Germany or its government bureau to build for the outbreak of war. This assertion, these false accusations, in the interest of our former enemies led to the severe suppression of the entire government folk and the violation of the assurance given to us in Wilson's 14 points, then led to a time of boundaries misfortune for Germany, that is to say, the working German folk. All the promises made by the men of November 1918 proved to be, if not acts of international deception, then no less damnable illusions. The achievements of the revolution were taken in their integrity, agreeable for only the smallest of fractions of our folk, but for the overwhelming majority. At least in so far as these people were forced to earn their daily bread by honest work, they were infinitely sad. It is understood that the survival instinct of those parties and men guilty of this development invests 1,000 impiums and excuses. An objective comparison of the average outcome of the last 14 years with the promises once proclaimed is a crushing indictment of the responsible archetypes of this crime unparalleled in German history. In the course of the past 14 years, our folk has suffered deterioration in all sectors of life, which could inconceivably have been greater. The question as to what, if anything, could have been worse than in these times is a question which cannot be answered in light of the basic values of our German folk, as well as the political and economic inheritance which once existed. In spite of its lack of mobility, its political feelings and positions, the German folk itself has increasingly turned away from concepts, parties, and associations which, in its eyes, are responsible for these conditions. The number of Germans who immortally supported the Weimar Constitution in spite of the suggestive insignificance, the ruthless expulsion of executive powers dwindled in the end to a mere fraction of the entire nation. Another typical characteristic of these 14 years was the fact that, apart from natural fluctuations, the curve of developments have showed a constant decline. This depressing realization was once of the cause of the general state of despair. It served to promote the insight into the necessity of rejecting the ideas, organization,